The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
I would like to return to the question of the nursing home revelations we received today that my colleague brought up earlier. Striking originally in that it refers to a level in 2017 almost as great as putting 15 and 16 together for reports of abuse, but striking also in that a number of those incident reports contain references to an element in the incident of a shortage of staff or of an inadequate staff-to-resident ratio in the context in which that incident happened. Now, it's pretty well 4 years since the government began its program of cuts in nursing home funding, and in that time, administrators, employees, families, residents have all spoken about how the impact of those cuts has impacted staffing levels around the province. And so will the Premier acknowledge that with this report today, there is now more mounting evidence that his government has failed to uphold an appropriate standard of care in our nursing homes?
The Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Honourable for the question. As you know, as I've said, that we've appointed an expert panel, Mr. Speaker, to go look at long-term care facilities. We await for the recommendations that they will bring in to us, Mr. Speaker. I hope, I think it's sometime around the end of November. That timeline is to look at through the budget process to make those investments. Our hope is that we'll get specific recommendations from this committee.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
But think about the time that passed before the panel was appointed. Month after month, season after season, year in and year out, we questioned the Premier about emerging reported problems in nursing homes. And throughout all that time, we were dismissed and brushed aside with answers about the government's investments and policies about home care. Now, after all of that time, earlier this month, the evidence somehow seems to have finally broken through, and we do have the announcement of the panel, and we are in our party hopeful about the work and recommendations of the panel, but we remain dismayed about all the time, all the years that have passed before any substantive changes in staffing levels are going to be made. So I want to ask the Premier, is he not concerned that his change of heart now has come too late in the day for many who would have benefited over the past number of years by staffing increases?
Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the Honourable for the question, and I want to tell him, Mr. Speaker, there are hardworking Nova Scotians across our province providing quality care to our loved ones in nursing homes from one end of this province to the other, Mr. Speaker. There has always been challenges, Mr. Speaker. They didn't resurface 5 years ago, Mr. Speaker. There have been challenges when they were in government. There was challenges when they were in government. We continue to work to ensure that we provide the care as required. You referred to home care, Mr. Speaker. It's an important component. We're hearing from Nova Scotians who tell us they want to be in their home as long as possible. We need to provide them the supports, and that's what we're doing. At the same time, we'll wait for the report to come back from the expert panel about long-term care.